Get NFL Sunday Ticket at its lowest price ever and watch every game every Sunday. Take your NFL experience to even greater heights with NFL Sunday Ticket Deluxe, which gives you Red Zone, bringing you the final yards from around the league along with minute-to-minute NFL fantasy updates. Call us at 601-8992 to sign up today.
Good evening, Bahamas, and thanks for joining us at MB12. Coming up tonight in news, a new mortgage relief plan about to be released after the notorious failure of the last one. The death penalty may be on the table for convicted murderer Stephen Dye Stubbs when he is sentenced. This as Tall Pines Member of Parliament Leslie Miller is calling for a House vote on hangings. And for the first time, the principal at the heart of the controversy of Anatole Rogers High School speaks out. We have those stories and much more coming up tonight. I'm Christina McNeil, and your MB12 starts right now. Thanks for joining us. 1 year after the launch of its much-maligned mortgage relief plan, government finds itself back at square one, presenting yet another proposal to clearing banks. The document is said to be quite different from the initial plan, which has come under heavy fire over the past 12 months. Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis shied away from projecting how many people a new and improved mortgage relief plan would assist, noting it all depends on clearing banks' response. Vonique Toot reports.
Following the failure of its highly touted mortgage relief plan, the Christie administration has gone back to the drawing board, submitting a proposal to clearing banks for consideration. The initial plan didn't even come close to assisting more than 1,000 struggling homeowners as expected. However, Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis insisted today mortgage relief is not dead.
We had a plan with certain parameters. We were able to make some adjustment to that, and we think we have some more people who qualify. And then we are not to preempt anything, but we are looking at a sort of different proposal, and we're discussing it with the clearing banks, because they are the ones who have the clients, and so we're waiting to get their feedback. We're just waiting some feedback. We put a proposal to them.
Halkitis chose not to speculate on how many people an improved plan would assist, noting government must first get a response from clearing banks. The last time government officials gave a figure, the opposition raked the Christie administration over the coal. That was back in May, when Prime Minister Perry Christie revealed that only 4 or 5 homeowners facing foreclosure might benefit from the initial plan, a tiny fraction of those expected to qualify. Halkitis says the number has increased since then, but he wasn't certain of the figure. If clearing banks reject this latest proposal, Halkitis admits government would be forced to find something else.
It takes two to work together. We'll see what they come back with. We only can propose. If they say no, we don't think so, or yes, we think so, then we continue to work. But the bottom line is, people still need relief, and we're looking at different ways to bring that.
The Minister of State for Finance is expecting a response any day now. In fact, he's hoping to present new details on mortgage relief when the House of Assembly reconvenes next month.
The issue is not dead. We're still working on it, and we think shortly I want to do something when we get back to Parliament in terms of making communication to update the public on where we're at. But we've continued to work, and we had some different ideas come forward, and we think something can happen.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
While the Crown is seeking the death penalty in the case of Stephen Dye Stubbs and 2 other men convicted of the 1999 murder of policeman Jimmy Ambrose and the attempted murder of another officer. Heavily armed officers guarded the Supreme Court, where Stubbs, Andrew Davis, and Clinton Evans were expected to be sentenced today. However, sentencing was pushed back to October 16th. That's because Director of Public Prosecutions Vanette Graham-Allen informed the court they are still awaiting a psychiatric report, which is needed when the death penalty is being considered. Graham-Allen told Justice Roy Jones that the report would not be ready for another 3 weeks, as the medical chief of staff received a letter requesting it too late. However, attorney Ramona Farquharson Seymour, who represents Evans, asserted that the death penalty could not possibly be on the table because the prosecution did not give the court or relevant parties notice. She insisted that notice should have been served within 10 to 14 days of the trio's July 25th conviction. However, that did not happen. Attorney Muriel DeSeal, who represents Stubbs, agreed. However, Graham Allen responded that there is no statutory requirement in the law for notice to be given. She said she would make the relevant submissions to support that claim. The trio has been remanded to custody. Tall Pines Member of Parliament Leslie Miller is calling on parliamentarians to publicly state whether or not they support capital punishment by taking a vote in the House of Assembly. Miller says churches, civic organizations, the Leader of the Opposition, and the Prime Minister have all stated their position on the issue. Now it's time for parliamentarians to do the same.
I think the time has come now when we as a people, when we are members of Parliament who are an extension of the Bahamian people by way of them sending us to Parliament to work for on their behalf. I think we should take a vote in Parliament and say who is for, who is against. If the majority is for it, we should let the law take its full course.
Miller says he speaks for himself and not the government of the Bahamas, but he tells our news team he plans to speak to opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis about taking the vote in Parliament.
And I will help him to push a vote forward to say put up or shut up. You're either for capital punishment if you're not. In my opinion, if you're not for capital punishment, you should really be someplace else. But you shouldn't be in the halls of Parliament. Because you're there to work for and on behalf of the people, the majority of people, for capital punishment. I think collectively we should decide who has the majority.
He says he believes most Bahamians support the death penalty and laws on the books should be carried out. Miller adds that decisions regarding the implementation of the death penalty should be made by Bahamians, not by foreigners who cannot relate to what is going on in the Bahamas.
I really don't see as a Bahamian that we should allow 12 men that sits in a place called the Privy Council in London and make decisions that affect the lives of the ordinary Bahamian. They don't face what we face. And I think we should be the purveyors of our own destiny. You and all of us should be the ones making the decision that affect the lives of all of us, and not some guy a couple of thousand miles away.
Convicts who lose their cases before the Court of Appeal can appeal to the Privy Council and the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. The Privy Council has said that death penalty cases must satisfy a two-part test. Firstly, the death sentence must only be given in cases where the facts of the offense are considered the worst of the worst or the rarest of the rare. Secondly, there must be no reasonable prospect of reform, and death would be the only way punishment is achieved. According to prison records, 5 of the 50 men hanged in the Bahamas since the 1920s were hanged under the F&M administration. 13 were hanged during the 25-year rule of the late Sir Lyndon Pinling, and the remaining 32 were executed between 1929 and 1967. Police have released footage of a man wanted for questioning in the armed robbery of the Scotiabank branch on East Street and Soldier Road Monday. Regarding that robbery, Superintendent Paul Roll, officer in charge of the Central Detective Unit, said a suspect robbed the bank shortly after 2 p.m. He noted that no one was injured. The person of interest, as you can see on your screen, is wearing a baseball cap and a gray team jacket. Police have also released footage of another man they want to question in relation to many matters that have occurred on New Providence, including rape, armed robbery, and housebreakings. Superintendent Stephen Dean described both unnamed suspects as armed and dangerous. And if you can help police in any way identifying these men or help police bring them in for questioning, you need to reach out to them. You can contact police anonymously at 328-TIPS, 911-919, or by calling your nearest police station. Well, the principal at the center of Teachers Union protests is telling her side of the story for the first time publicly. Myrtle McPhee, who heads Anatole Rogers High School in southwest New Providence, spoke to Candia Dames today and gave MB12 a tour of the institution where hundreds of students are still settling in at the start of a new school year.
Myrtle McPhee says that despite the noise from the Teachers Union, she remains focused on this institution's mission, and that is providing quality instructions and producing quality students. She spoke with NB12 today about this institution's challenges, but also about the school's success stories.
Even before the start of the new school year, Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson warned Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald that the union would take action if the ministry did not remove McPhee as principal. Wilson claimed McPhee created a hostile environment for teachers and was not leading the academic agenda effectively. Well, we asked McPhee today to respond to the union's push to have her removed.
I'm very passionate about what I do. I also feel as if what is worthwhile doing is worthwhile doing well. I am either going to do it and do it well, or I'm not going to do it at all. And so probably people are fazed probably by the passion with which I execute my duties. But it's all in simply to do what you're called to do as the instructional leader and not to be sidetracked by all of the other issues that present themselves on a regular basis. We must be about delivering quality instructions.
McPhee appeared unmoved by the union's claims. In fact, she noted that only about 15 of the school's 93 teachers participated in the union's actions at the start of the school year.
I think it speaks to the quality of teachers we have here at Anatole Rogers High School. Like I said before, we have quality teachers who are ready to respond very positively to the instructional process. Teachers were ready to teach, and that is what they did.
Anatole Rogers is the largest school in the Bahamas, population-wise, and it is just one of 2 public schools in the country that has both junior and senior school students. The school's population is approaching 1,400. McPhee noted that in itself presents challenges, but she touted improved exam results and other notable achievements, like the school's first-place finish this year in the Build a Bridge competition, led by its pre-engineering students. We asked McPhee to characterize her relationship with teachers and parents.
Professionalism is the order of the day. Quality is what we are about. We are a quality school, and we will have nothing other than quality. So we operate on a very professional level.
McPhee also said there is no truth to claims she had suspended the Parent Teachers Association. Fitzgerald has said McPhee is performing at a standard required and will remain in her post. McPhee has nearly 40 years in the teaching profession.
The teachers and students here at Anatole Rogers say they have one message.
We are quality schools producing quality students.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Candia Dames.